Now let's talk about how to make changes to your Google business profile. If you are already logged into your Google account and you're using the Chrome browser, you can open a tab and it will look something like this. You'll see 9 dots in the upper right here. If I click on that, you'll get a drop down with several selections here. The one on the upper right is Business Profile Manager. If I click on that, it takes me to this page, which is showing my profile on the right and settings on the left. Now, alternatively, you can visit business.google.com and you'll see a page that looks something like what you're seeing here on the screen. And on the upper right is a button labeled Manage Now. If you click that, it'll take you through a process of searching for your business. And if it's not found, they'll give you instructions on how to create your business. In either case, you will end up with a page that looks like this. I'm going to zoom in on the settings here, which are on the left. And we're going to go through each of these, not in depth, but at least want to hit the high spots. So I'm going to click Edit Profile. First on the list is business name. This is critical to get right. It's helpful to have keywords in your business name. In my case, the keywords are digital marketing agency. If you do carpet cleaning, for example, you might want to have the words carpet cleaners or something like that in your business name. This helps a lot when searches are performed. But on the other hand, you don't want to go crazy and start adding all of your services or all of your locations or anything like that. Google does not like what they call keyword stuffing. They'll penalize you for that. Just your actual business name with and hopefully your name has a keyword in it that's relevant. All right, next up is business category. It's very important to get this right as well for a couple of reasons. One is it really affects the way you show up in searches, and it also determines the options that you will have in your profile, which we'll talk about more a little bit in a minute. Next up is description. Here's where you can go crazy a little bit with throwing keywords in if you want to. You can list all your services, list your service areas. Although there are separate sections for that, it doesn't hurt to repeat some of it here. They give you about 750 characters. It's not a bad idea to fill that up. All right, then we've got phone number, website, location. In my case, the location is not visible because I don't really want people visiting me. But if you do, if you have a storefront or whatever reason you want people to visit you, this is where you'd enter that. It also there's also a place to list service areas. So you want to list all the cities that you serve. Business hours is next, and this is really divided into three sections. There's regular hours, which is mostly what you're seeing here on the screen. You can also add in special holiday hours and other special hours. These are mostly relating to restaurants. Take a look at this and see if any of these apply to you. Next up is read reviews, and it's obviously where you would go to read reviews, but also to respond to those reviews. And responding is very important. Google wants to see a response to every review, both positive and negative. Every time you do respond, that's a tiny boost in your ranking. So you want to do that. People like to see that as well, by the way. All right, messages. This is where you would go to see messages that were sent if you have chat set up. So if you don't have chat set up, here's one way to do it. If you go to the upper right, you see these 3 dots. If I click that, you get this drop down. If I click chat settings, you can see that I have chat turned on here at the top. So you want to do that. It doesn't happen automatically. You need to go in here and manually turn chat on. So it's very important to do that. Add photos, I'm going to actually skip because it's fairly self-explanatory. It's extremely important to have photos, but it's fairly self-explanatory. Performance is where you go to see how things are performing in your profile. They'll show interactions. What are interactions? They are when people call, message, make bookings, ask for directions, and more from your business profile on Google. So they break it down by calls, messages, bookings, and website clicks. This is a handy thing to look at periodically just to see how how you're doing. Advertise, we're going to skip because this is how you do paid advertising, which we're trying to avoid here. Then we've got edit products and services. I'm going to go to services first just to show you what they look like. And basically, it's just a very simple list of services. Kind of boring, actually. It's just a list. There's no place for a description or photo. But if you go to products, on the other hand, now you can see here's a couple products that I've listed. There's images showing there. If you want to add a product, this is what you get. Place for product name. You can select a category, price, description, and photo. So much more information than simply listing services. So that's why you want to go ahead and enter your services here as a product, just because it shows up so much better in your profile. Now let's go to bookings. Now in my case, I have a booking calendar, and that link is listed right here. If you don't do bookings, then you'll just skip this part. Calls. This is where they will list every call that has gone through your profile to you. Google wants to make sure that you know that they're sending you calls. So this is where you'd see a record of that. Q&A. This is where you would answer questions that have been asked by people visiting your profile. You can also ask yourself a question by clicking this Ask a Question button up here, and then go ahead and answer it. These questions and answers will show up in your profile. And then we've got Ad Update. Here's something that a lot of businesses just simply totally ignore. There's actually 3 choices here: Add Update, Add Offer, Add Event. Adding update is what I'm going to first here. That's essentially, it's like adding a post. There's a description, photos. You can add a button, and here's the choices for buttons: book, order online, buy, learn more, sign up, call now. So if those are appropriate, you'd want to do that. Next up, we're going to add offers. And in this case, you've got a title and a starting and ending date, details, photos, so quite a bit. This is where you'd go to add a special offer. Next up is adding an event. It's actually somewhat similar to an offer. You've got title, you've also got starting and ending date and time in this case, and photos. Any events, add it there under Add Update. Now I'm going to click on Ask for Reviews. And this is what you see. Mostly what I want to point out to you is this review link at the bottom here. What you can do is click on this little copy icon, and it will copy the web page for leaving reviews. So the page looks like this. This is the actual review form. What you can do is copy that link, send it to customers, clients, whatever, in an email or in a text message. You can also post it on your website. When they click it, they'll be taken to this page, to this form where they can leave their review, the number of stars, write details, add photos, etc. Now, another thing you can do with that link, I'll show you the link again. With this link here, it's possible to convert it easily into a QR code and then print it onto, let's say, a brochure, business card, or a sign at your business, perhaps with wording like this: "Are you satisfied with our service? Please scan the image and leave us a review." So they scan it with their phone, and they're taken back to this page here where they leave their review. I want to add a couple more things about Google reviews. As I mentioned earlier, reviews are the second most important factor in your ranking after your Google business profile. You definitely need to pay attention to it. Ideally, you have at least a 4-star minimum average rating. People are reluctant to do business with anyone that has less than a 4-star rating. How many should you have? Well, there's no magic number here, but just ideally more than your competition. Google definitely looks at that. The total number of reviews does affect your ranking. How often should they be coming in? Just on a regular basis. Google doesn't like to see too many reviews coming in all at once and then nothing for months. They just need to be coming in at a steady pace, which just means that you need to be requesting those reviews on a regular basis. How recent should they be? Well, reviews tend to get ignored if they're more than, let's say, 6 months old. Google tends to ignore them, and of course, people ignore them. I personally will only look at recent reviews because I know that things change over time, and an old review really doesn't mean a whole lot. So that pretty much wraps up my training today. To sum things up, the best way to get your business on the first page of Google and stay there is to perform these four tasks. Number one, provide complete and accurate information in your Google business profile. Number two, turn on all the free optional services that are available to you, and that will depend somewhat on the category that you have selected for your business. Three, update your profile regularly by adding photos, news, offers, and events. And lastly, ask for more reviews. By doing these things described, you can get up to 50% more calls and visits for free and possibly much more, as I described at the beginning of this training. While these tasks are relatively easy, they obviously require some time and effort on your part. And if you're a busy business owner, and I know many of you are, and don't want to do the work yourself, I now have a special offer for you. So now please go to part 4, where I discuss our done for you offer plus additional bonuses.